All right, so hopefully you have this kind of working now. You can see the ball is just bouncing off, and it looks pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it does what it needs to. The next thing I want to do is add in paddles, and this is probably going to be one of the more important parts of this because we're going to actually talk about constructors a lot. So what I'm going to do is actually add an actor and go to new subclass, and I'll call this paddle. And I do not need a paddle left and a paddle right. And for this one, I'm actually not even going to pick an image. We're going to actually make an image. So I'm just going to hit OK. So now I have a paddle, and if you put one in, it's literally just going to be a Greenfoot because I have no image for it. We're actually going to make the image ourselves. So if you open up the paddle class, we're going to do this in the constructor. I'm going to type public paddle, and let's make this image. So we can actually make an image. The first thing I'm going to do is type in Greenfoot image. That's what holds images in Greenfoot, is this class called Greenfoot image. And I'll give this Greenfoot image a name. A lot of times I'll use like IMG for image. And I need to create an image. So right here I need to call it a constructor. So if I check out this, I'm going to just go to the help menu, Greenfoot class documentation. And under Greenfoot image, here are the constructors I can use. And I can, call it, we've used this one before a little bit with the animations. I can call one from a file. I can put some strings in here and stuff. But I'm actually going to use this one. It creates an empty transparent image with a specified size and height. So int width and int height. Okay, so that's the one I'm actually going to use. I'm going to go and say new Greenfoot image. And I'm going to put in one with a width and a height. So a paddle width is not very big. I'm going to see what 20 looks like. I can change this after. And then the height, a little bit longer. So let's see what 75 looks like. So now I have an image, and it's literally just a blank sheet of paper. That's all I have is a blank sheet of paper called IMG that is 20 pixels wide by 75 pixels high. And if I do IMG dot, this will be everything a Greenfoot image can do. And the first thing I'm going to do is set color. And you can put color dot, and this is everything that a color class can do. And there should be something that I should be able to put in. It sometimes comes up, sometimes it's not. But you can put in, I believe, black. And I'm going to go IMG dot fill. So basically what I did was pick the color black, and I'm going to fill it. So let's just hit compile, make sure I don't have any errors, and I'll jump back, and now I will put in a paddle. And, oh, I forgot to set the image. So I did everything, and I forgot to do, there's a method called setImage as IMG. So I never set it. I created it, but I never actually set the image to that there. And there's the paddle I have. It's okay wide. I'm going to make it a little taller here, I think. So I'm just going to open up paddle, and let's just change this to maybe 100. I'm still filling the entire thing, so compile and new paddle, and that looks pretty good. So I have a paddle here, and that's good. So that's actually how you make images. It's not that bad. There's some methods in here if you wanted to do IMG dot, there's draw rectangle, and there's fill rectangle and fill oval and fill polygon, and some other methods that you could do. So now what I want to do is actually make this work. So let's just go dive into the act method, and let's write here if Greenfoot dot is key down, and say I press the up button, or let's do W. If I press W, I want to move this, and I actually like to use set location anymore, not set image, but set location as get X, and I won't move X, but I'll get Y, and I will get Y. If I want to go up, so W will move it up, that would be actually get Y minus 2 or so. Maybe a little faster. Maybe, I'll keep it at 2 and see what that looks like. I'm going to just copy this code and paste this down, and instead of using W, I'll press S, and that would be +2. And if I compile this, you can kind of look at it. If I compile it, put in this paddle, boom, put a paddle in, and S moves it down, W moves it up. A little slow, I should probably make it a little faster, but that'll work for right now. One problem is if I put in another paddle, they both go up and down with S and W. So I have to kind of fix that. I want one paddle to be S and W, and I want another paddle to be something else, maybe the up key and the down key. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my world. And let's actually put in some stuff here. So in my world, I have nothing yet. I've been manually kind of putting these in. So let's do add object, new ball. And let's just put the ball in the center. So we'll start the ball at 300, 200. And then I'm going to go add object, new paddle. And we'll put this one to the left. So I don't know, let's go maybe like 50, and then in the middle we'll start it, so 200. And then I'm just going to copy this, add another paddle, and we'll just change this to, what's that, 350? No, 550, and 200. And now I compile this, and I should have two paddles and the ball in the middle. And if I hit run, this works. The ball's not going to bounce off the paddles or anything yet, but it's kind of working. So the last thing I need to do is really talk about constructors and see how this works. And it's really, really powerful of how this can work. Right now, my paddle doesn't take in anything. However, I can make it take in two strings, like a string and up and a string down. And I'm going to send over a string. So when I create a paddle, I'm going to send over for the left paddle, for this one, this is the left paddle, maybe I want to send over A and W. And then for the right paddle, I want to send over up and down. Now they're just words, they're just strings. So A and W comes over for the first paddle, and then up and down comes over to the second paddle. So let's talk about the first paddle first. So remember that each paddle is a copy of this code. So in the first paddle, the variable up is actually A. And the variable down is actually S. Now, I can actually replace this with an up and a down. However, this is the little tricky part. Up is only known in this method or in this constructor, so I can't use up down here. So what I could do is just a little trick of putting string, maybe I'll call this up button, and then string down button. A lot of times instead of putting button, I'll just put BTN for button, just a little short. And then as we talked about, these should be private, no big deal if you don't do that right now, but they should be private. And I'm going to set up BTN equal to up, and down BTN equal to down. And this is really powerful because now I can change this to up and this, or not up, up BTN, and down BTN. And think about how this is going to work. Each paddle has a copy of this code. So the first paddle that gets created, I send over A and W. So A comes over and is now called up, and then up button is equal to up. So up button is actually for the first paddle, W. And it comes down here, so what moves the paddle up? W. For the second paddle, the actual up button will move it up. And if I run this, I can have one paddle moving with W and S, and one paddle moving with up and down. And that is really, really powerful to have happen. And there's the one paddle going up and down with up. There's the other one going the other way. I think I actually reversed those of what I wanted. This actually moved it down. I reversed it. This moved it down, and this moved it up. They were just reversed on the. And now let's try this one more time, and we should be good. Actually, let me check one more thing. I think down should move it. Oh no, this was up. It was correct the original way, and this was down. I just want to make sure these are good. Up button equals up, down button equals down, and jump over. Yep, and everything works.